What's up, everybody? Sam Smyers here. Today I want to show you how to make that synth stab from Take It Off by Fisher that happens in the second drop. It's a really cool sound, and I already made the bass to this song, so I'll put a link down below so you can check out that video. But I want to make this sound as well because I thought it was really cool, and I want to show you guys how to make it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. And as a reminder, if you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And also, if you'd like to check out any of my Serum preset packs, head on over to store.samsmyers.com. This sound to me, it's a really simple sound, but the way that it comes in during the drop and also the chord that it plays and how it bends up and bends back down, I think it's really cool how he did it. So I just want to walk through how he created this sound. I'm going to go through the MIDI first. I first just want to show you what the chord is. The chord is an E flat minor 7th chord, and the key of the song is E flat minor. So E flat minor 7th, we've got this 7th here. Let's play it. Now 7th chords are usually used for jazz. They have this jazzy feel because most chords in dance music, pop music, they don't really have the 7th. So if I take it out, it would sound something like that. And just adding in the 7th makes it a bit more jazzy and has this really cool feel. And then what happens is this chord bends up 2 semitones, and that makes it so you got E flat. So I'll just go ahead and adjust this MIDI. Now this is an F minor 7th chord, but in the key of E flat minor, there isn't an F minor 7th chord. It's actually an F minor flat 5/7. So this 5 is actually flatted. So you got the C flat. There isn't a C in the key. And so this is something that also adds to the sound, is that you're playing the C note, which wasn't really into the scale as it bends up. That E flat minor bends up to this F minor 7, it has the C in there, so it has this kind of dissonance to it that makes it sound really cool in the track. So if we just check out the pitch bend automation, it happens like this at the end of the stab. And let me just play it with some drums. Hopefully I don't have to mute this in YouTube. It kind of happens like that in the track. There's also a kickstart 2 on there that has this pumping effect. And I'm going to show you how we can make the synth with the sidechain effect actually in the synth. So I'm going to be using Serum, of course. I like to use Serum, and add some voices of unison to the oscillator A, and then decrease this detune. Now, the more voices of unison, the thicker it will sound. So I was toying around with maybe 3 unison or 5 unison. I felt like 3 unison was giving me, like, I could hear each of the individual voices of unison a bit easier. So I think that sounded a bit closer to how it was in the track. Just gonna pump up that level a bit and add on some noise. And I will do the J106 noise. Adjust that level a tiny bit. And this envelope 1, I don't really need to mess with that because we're just playing the chord. Then to get that wobble effect, I'm going to go in this folder in the LFO1, and we'll do the sine. So it starts in the middle, goes up, goes down, and we'll leave the rate at 1/4. Hit it on, put the mode on trigger so that every time you play notes, it starts at the same point. And then we can assign the LFO1 to the fine tuning of oscillator A. I'm gonna put at about 35 or so, and let's increase that rate. And that's really close to the sound. We're just gonna add on a bit of effects, like some EQ and some reverb. So I have the sidechain on with the kickstart 2. We could also just try to put it into the synth if you don't want to add on like an additional sidechain. And let me just show you how to do that. There's actually some wave or some LFO shapes for sidechains. So I'm gonna go down to the sidechain 5 and use this one and maybe adjust this when it comes up again. And then I need to put it onto trigger, and then you would just assign this LFO2 to like the level of your oscillators. So I could assign it to oscillator A, and then I have some noise, so I'll just put it on there as well. And then the amount of that sidechain effect you can play around with by adjusting the level. So yeah, if you didn't want to use the Kickstart 2, you could do something like that using one of the LFOs instead. I'm just going to use the Kickstart 2 because that's how I like to do it. So let's go ahead and put those back. Put on that Kickstart 2. So then we're going to go into the effects and just roll off that low end. Don't really need the low end, and then add a bit of boost on the high shelf. This is just a high shelf boost, doing it around like 2 kilohertz. So you can hear that, how that brightens up the synth. And then I'll just add on some reverb. So using just like a hall reverb, mix that like 25%. These are the size, so 35%. And 4 seconds for the decay. And mainly when that stab is playing, you can't hear the reverb, but it's mainly when it stops playing, you hear the reverb ring out in the track a bit. So that's why I wanted to add on the reverb. And you could also just automate that reverb on and off if you didn't want it to happen during the stab. So I could even go into, let's say, configure, hit my mix, show the automation for the reverb. Maybe do something like that. So now let's just check it out with some drums. So really easy synth to make, just adding in that little bit of pitch wobble, and then also using that pitch bend is what makes it stand out. So these are just things to think about, is that you don't always have to use like a complicated sound, just maybe try and figure out some ways to make it a bit more interesting. If you just want to grab this preset, I'll put a link down below. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and also leave a comment down below what other videos you want me to make. And also, if you'd like to check out any of my Serum preset packs, I'll put links down below for those as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.